North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer is a member of the Environment Committee and joins us now. Senator, good morning to you, and thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, Sandra.
So what do you make of what you're hearing out there on the campaign trail so far when it pertains to energy and moving away from fossil fuels? Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and others.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get crazier after what Senator Warren said, you can always count on Bernie Sanders to up the ante. And it's somewhere between pandering to the extreme left and ignorance. I'm afraid it's a little bit of both, and both are frightening. The reality is that fossil fuels and all generation, all types of energy production is important, and it's good for our economy, it's good for our environment, it's good for job creation. But we shouldn't be picking the winners and losers and announcing that we're going to rescind previous legal permits and orders. What we ought to be doing is working together in a bipartisan way on everything from technology to cleaner ways of mining and recovering and using fossil fuels. And I think together we can solve the problem. But
together's a big word, Senator.
Election doesn't do it.
Clearly, when you see the polling out there and the response that you're seeing on the campaign trail, there is a growing appetite to combat climate change. And you're seeing Democrats taking that head on. How are Republicans responding to that demand?
Yeah, it's an important point, because I think you're right. I think there is a demand to do it. I think both sides are trying to do it. But both sides aren't working a lot together to do it. And I think there are solutions. And in a divided government, I frankly think this is a wonderful opportunity to do exactly that. So for Republicans, and frankly for some Democrats that we work with, we have things like working on appropriate credits for things like clean energy in the form of nuclear power, for example, for electric generation. Things like carbon capture, utilization, and storage that actually stores the carbon, but actually then uses it not as a waste product, but as a commodity that enhances further oil recovery, making it more efficient. Well, in addition to the other things, obviously North Dakota is a clean energy state as well as a fossil fuel state.
Well, this is why it's incredibly important to you, and that's what caught our eye when you tweeted out a response to Elizabeth Warren when she called for revoking the permits for the Dakota Access and for the Keystone pipelines. You said Elizabeth Warren is wrong. And you took her on for saying this. Elizabeth Warren tweeted, quote, "When tribal concerns have conflicted with corporate profits or resource extraction, tribes lose. This has to change. When I'm president, energy projects that impact Indian country won't proceed without consent. That means revoking Trump's Keystone XL and DAPL permits." How would that affect your state, Senator Cramer?
Well, the Dakota Access Pipeline is a legally permitted pipeline where there was lots of consultation. In fact, 380 meetings with over 50 tribes in the United States, more than 140 route adjustments in North Dakota alone to avoid cultural artifacts in sensitive areas. So there's lots of consultation, but Elizabeth Warren used a word, consent. Consent means something very specific in legal terms. And if you have to have consent by tribes that are affected, that's every tribe in the country. Remember, Native Americans are indigenous to the entire country. So when you throw around words like consent, what she's talking about doing is revoking legally permitted construction in this country. Like I said, 35% of North Dakota's oil, and we're the second leading oil producing state in the country, moves through the Dakota Access Pipeline. Without that, we're relying more on foreign sources of oil, which means foreign job creation, foreign wealth. And nobody does production cleaner and greener than the United States of America. I'd rather keep those jobs here, produce what the world needs, sell it around the world, and be the stabilizing force in our economy.
Interesting. Andy Pesner, the former businessman, he put out an opinion piece published in the Washington Post. He headlined it, "Warren is the real economic threat." There's a lot of discussion about what some of these policy proposals on the campaign trail would mean for our economy, which at this moment still looks pretty strong under Trump policies, Senator Cramer. So final thoughts to you as we hear from the Democratic candidates, including the frontrunner Joe Biden, which said that he's going to try to find some middle ground on climate, and what some of those proposals would mean ultimately for our economy. Final thoughts.
Well, I think middle ground is where reality exists. That's the art of the possible. That's what politics is. And I would urge everybody to look for some middle ground, because people want a solution. We may argue about the extent of climate change, you know, how existential it is, whose fault it is, to what degree it's the people's fault. But people do want a solution. I think we can find that if we work together on solutions. And frankly, there is some stuff going on. There really are some Republican and Democratic proposals. We just have to get sort of past the noise. Presidential politics, by the way, is a hard place to solve things, especially in the primary season.
Very interesting thoughts. Senator Cramer from the great state of North Dakota, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.